everyone, Greenie here. Welcome back to the adventure. I'm currently joining you from the Flinders Ranges in central South Australia. I'm up here battling the flies and the heat to try and find a species of endemic dragon to here and the Gammon Ranges, the red bar dragon. Beautiful little gammon species with stunning oranges and blues through it, especially males, which are much more vibrant in colour than females. The rocks up in these gorges spend all day absorbing heat, and temperatures reach in excess of 50 and 60 degrees Celsius. And these dragons will bask in those temperatures, but not for extended periods of time. They'll come out and bask, but they still need to find shade as well. As you can imagine though, a small little dragon needs a lot less shade than I do. Our journey into the Flinders Ranges is relatively short, situated only around 400 kilometres north of Adelaide, the South Australian capital, and is a must-see destination for anyone visiting the area. These ancient rock formations formed some 450 million years ago and have seen significant weathering, resulting in the current formations we see today. This region is semi-arid and rain in the area is uncommon. On average, only 29 days a year see rainfall above 1 millimetre. As such, species native to this area have adapted to survive to this dry climate, finding shelter among the shade of rocky gorges and water held in natural springs. My day starts first thing in the morning before any major heat kicks in, on a journey to find one of the area's most significant species, the yellow-footed rock wallaby, one of my personal favourite mammals in all of Australia. I have a narrow window to see these beautiful macropods. They are mostly nocturnal, however, can be seen in the early mornings in the open, such as this. However, once the day warms up, they will find shade in large caves and under overhanging rocks, proving far more difficult to spot. During early European settlement, yellow-footed rock wallabies' numbers were severely impacted. Hunting for sport and fur trade, as well as introduction of livestock such as goats and predators such as foxes, saw rock wallaby numbers heavily reduced. Now, around 2,000 remain in the wild, and the Flinders Ranges has become a vital area of protection for this species. Watercourses run through the gorges of the Flinders Ranges, or Ikara, as it's traditionally known. What appear to be dry creek beds often still contain underground water supplies, which support these old eucalyptus trees. These old gum trees provide the necessary habitat of hollows for birds, such as these Australian ringneck parrots, to nest in. The next species for me to find, however, prefers the shelter of the rocks, so it's time to climb up into the escarpment and keep an eye out for another lizard endemic to the region. This is the Central Ranges rock skink. These lizards feel at home along the tight crevices formed in the escarpment. With a body size of around 11 centimetres, not including the tail, they're the perfect prey item for many species of birds, and so will often remain close by to the shelter of their crevice home. Fortunately, I was able to find this little guy before the day got much hotter, as it was still willing to come out in the open and bask. Once the weather gets any hotter, these lizards too will shelter deep in the crevices to keep cool in the shade, proving near impossible to find. It's time to leave this guy be and get back on track to find my main target species, the red-barred dragon. By now, temperatures are increasing dramatically and my window for finding them is growing shorter and shorter. I have to travel further north in the Flinders Ranges, and the location I had been and seen them before was unfortunately closed when I got there. In the end, I had to travel even further afield, and my new location had reached temperatures above 35 degrees Celsius by the time I got there. In the morning, it's much easier to find dragons out basking in the sun, but in these temperatures, the lizards can maintain their optimum body temperature still in the shade and don't need to venture far from shelter any more than they have to. I still spent some time looking for these dragons and saw a brief encounter with an adult male. Unfortunately, he was super wary of my presence and disappeared deep into a rock crevice before I had time to get my camera up. Fortunately, however, Josh was travelling through the region not long afterwards and managed to have far greater success with this species than I did. This is an adult female red-barred dragon. Red-barred dragons are members of the rock dragon group within the Ctenophorus genus, and interestingly enough, most members of the rock dragons are sexually dimorphic, meaning males and females have distinct appearance differences. This is most commonly seen in birds, with males almost always exhibiting brighter colours and bolder patterns. However, in lizards, it's far more uncommon, and red-barred dragons are one of very few lizard species in Australia to have this trait. Juvenile dragons, such as this, however, will all look relatively similar. It's not until animals begin to reach sexual maturity that they begin to show the typical pattern and coloration of their sex. Compared to the rock skinks, these dragons are far bolder, willing to bask out an open escarpment such as this, even using head bobbing and occasional arm movements as a communication method. After absorbing the heat from the sun all day, they're full of energy and lightning fast, able to quickly dash back to shelter when feeling threatened. Thanks for watching our Flinders Ranges episode of Wild Aussie Adventures. Be sure to stay tuned for what's coming next. We've got some huge plans coming up very shortly, and you're not going to want to miss out.